So, I kind of making a broad blanket statement here, but essentially, people are broke, okay? And I'm not just assuming this, I am basing this off of what I've been hearing and what I've been told, and also what I have been seeing here more and more on YouTube, on the platform. And people are saying that they're tired of being poor, and nobody wants to live in poverty, which I would more than likely assume is 100% true and accurate. The paycheck to paycheck lifestyle is no way to live. So what I want to request and ask of you is to do me a favor. If you clicked on this video because maybe potentially you fall into this category, you are having issues with money, finances, struggling to get by, trying to find a way to improve your financial situation, make more money, get out of the rut and the rat race that you may feel like you're stuck in, or potentially maybe even worse, then do me a favor and just humor me and say it out loud, okay? So say it with me, or repeat after me. I am done being broke, okay? Say, I'm not going to be poor, okay? Just say that. I'm done being broke. I'm not going to be poor, all right? Now, doesn't that feel good? Doesn't that feel good? Doesn't that make you feel better now that you said it, okay? So we're going to create this manifestation. We're going to speak into words, speak into life, speak into truth, that we're done being broke and we're not going to be poor, okay? Excuse me. Now, I'll say that the more that you say it and the more that you mean it and begin to live with this mindset and with conviction, the closer you will come to breaking free of the slavery, basically, the entrapment, the imprisonment that comes with falling behind in ultimately financial literacy, economic education, and monetary prowess. And honestly, it's not your fault. It really isn't. This has forever been a huge gap and a great miss by our education, our public education system, and even our post-secondary private education systems, where this isn't necessarily taught or explained or even presented to be a goal. Even now, as early as elementary school, but elementary school, grade school, middle school, junior high, high school, college, they'll motivate and they'll push for athletics. Athletics bring in a lot of money for schools. You can do academic scholarships, but there's never really a push for financial independence and financial freedom and financial education. It's not there. Now, I want to propose a challenge, okay? And this challenge is going to be for anyone who is tired of being broke, done being poor, okay? I want to challenge you to go out and ask people that you know, okay? Or people that you don't know. You don't even know these people. I want you to go out and talk to people, and essentially the people who are not broke, the people who are not living paycheck to paycheck. If you know them, this should be easier to identify. If you don't know them, then you're going to have to assume maybe, or perhaps put yourself in a position to ask, like, don't hang out at the unemployment office, but maybe instead go to an expensive car dealership, maybe, or a country club, or a bank, maybe. But it doesn't matter. I want you to go out. I want to propose this challenge that you ask people that you know or that you don't know who essentially are not broke and not living paycheck to paycheck. And I want you to ask them how they did it, and or how they're doing it to essentially not be broke, not be poor, not living paycheck to paycheck. And with asking this, I want you to pay very close attention to the answer that they give you. It's not just ask a question and then shut your ears off. I want you to ask the question, and I want you to be ready, willing, and able to accept and listen to, not just hear, but listen to the answer that they give you, because that's going to be very important. And you might just be surprised, I think, by the responses that you end up getting. More importantly, you won't be asking, this is very important, you're not going to be asking your same old friends, okay? You're not going to be asking anybody from the group of people in your current circle who are more than likely broke too, okay? Because we don't want to, like I said earlier in the video, let's tell ourselves, let's tell others we're done being broke, we're done being poor, we're done living paycheck to paycheck. We need to tell everybody that. We don't need to complain with others and everyone else that we are broke, that we are poor, that we are living paycheck to paycheck, because that will not produce meaningful change. That will only keep you stuck and focused on the problem, which is you don't have enough money, you don't make enough money, you have too many bills, the cost of living is too high, and it's a complaint, and you're just buying yourself time until the next day to go back to work and make it to Friday, which is not payday, by the way. Friday is transfer day, because you get money coming in that immediately goes back out. So you didn't really get paid. If they would have just not paid you and sent all that money to your people you owe money to, it would be no different. You're just the middleman. Perhaps maybe even more painful to be that way, so you can feel the money coming in, but you can also feel the money going back out. So we don't want to ask the people who are broke, or even just reminisce on how we are broke. We want to talk to the people who are not broke, who are not poor, find out what they're doing, okay? Now, I'm not saying that what they're doing is what you're going to end up doing, but in talking to these people and asking these questions, you may be very surprised in what you learn and what you hear, and maybe even what opportunity is presented to you. I'm only speaking from experience, okay? There's a lot out there that you don't know, we don't know, people don't know is available to them, for the simple fact and reason being we don't ask the questions. And if we do ask the questions, we gotta be listening, okay, to the answers, okay, and using these to propel us and push us forward towards additional success, okay? So basically what it boils down to is, if you want something you've never had, then you're gonna have to do something you've never done. So plain and simple, it's pretty much the easiest way that I can describe that. And I was extremely motivated to talk to you guys about this because I watched a video today of a handyman who was explaining how his business has fallen apart, and he's no longer getting very many, and some days, if any, phone calls for handyman work, like patching drywall, or repairing floors, or plumbing, stopping plumbing leaks, or hanging ceiling fans, or like all the minor things, pressure washing, who knows, anything that handy men and handy women would do on a regular basis. He's just not getting the calls anymore. And now what he's trying to do is he's trying to advertise more and also lower his prices, which I think is a terrible idea. I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty on that right now because I don't want this video to be too long, but I don't think that that is the best idea at a time like this. But he is essentially assuming that all of his potential customers and clientele are broke, they're poor, they're living in poverty now, and they can't afford to hire him for his services, let alone the what he would typically charge in fees. So that's another topic for another video. But he inspired me to want to share this message with you all and help motivate people out of the rut, out of the hole, basically, of being broke, being poor, living paycheck to paycheck. People are tired of being broke. And also, I was reminded today, as I mentioned to you guys just the other day, about how the holiday shopping season is upon us, and this is going to be a tool used to siphon money out of our wallets and away from our paychecks and out of our savings accounts, and racking up debt on our credit cards that we really don't need to be accruing. And it's because, you know, now is the time. They know, and they're out for blood, but they too have their sights set, focused on what their goals are, and they're trying to accomplish them, and they have to speak it into fruition, basically, and say, these are the sales, these are the deals, this is what you guys need to be buying. And more importantly, we want to make money. We want to grow our business. We want to be profitable and successful and survive and not file bankruptcy, okay? But I was reminded by a colleague, and he says, and I quote, "The next 10 weeks should be our highest earning weeks of the year, historically speaking." And what he's saying by that, and what he means, is that we are now in the holiday season. And pretty soon when we hit December, you'll see Vlogmas. Vlogmas is when YouTubers post every single day in December up to Christmas, because, again, the next 10 weeks, we are literally moving towards the time where everybody, all these businesses, all these advertisers, all these companies, all these marketing agencies are paying the most to get the greatest amount of visibility, to reach potential shoppers, buyers, customers, to bring them into the stores, drive sales, and drive revenue and drive profits. Now, I will say that if you see an ad on this video now, I am not profiting from it because this channel is not monetized, at least not yet. So if they're playing an ad on it, I can't control it. But if they are playing an ad on it, they're probably gonna play one around now anyway. And it just further proves my point. And odds are it's probably an ad, depending on when you're watching this, that's going to promote and motivate you to want to do some Christmas shopping, probably. I'm just guessing. But essentially, what my buddy was telling me was, it's time to, you know, put out the content, put out the videos, bangers only. And this is in regard to video uploads and getting the maximum amount of views, while advertisers are paying big money for the holiday shopping season, which I do have multiple other YouTube channels that are monetized, which we are working on doing the same thing. We're still trying to bring and deliver, you know, really, really good, great, valuable content to you guys, the viewers, but also realizing that now is the time to go out there and get it, because they are paying the most for it. And, you know, we know that there's going to be some economic challenges going into the shopping season, and discretionary spending and budgets and things like that. But they're going to hedge their bets, and they're going to put the money where they think they're going to get the most out of it from. And maybe I'll do a video in the future if you guys care to know where I think that potential target market is. Because it's not just holiday shopping. It's got to be specific. Is it travel? Is it apparel? Is it kids? Is it health, wealth, technology are typically the highest payers. But we can talk about that in another video if you care to know more about that. And essentially, what's funny is I've heard so many different perspectives from fellow creators on YouTube and on other social media platforms who are essentially falling behind in revenue and basically have no jobs, okay? And they're broke, or at least their clients, their sponsors, and customers are all broke, or at least that's what they are assuming or what they've been told, and it's hurting their income, and they no longer have a steady paycheck. Which, this was an interesting one because somebody was telling me, they said, Kevin, can you help me negotiate one of my contracts with one of my sponsors, because they're trying to get me to take less money because of obviously the struggles with the economy. And I said, look, dude, I don't mind talking to you about it, but we have to understand and realize, and you gotta be able to make the choice. This is a business decision, that maybe the economy is bad, maybe the recession is real, maybe they are wanting to do business with you, but you need to lower it to be able to fall within their budget, maybe. However, if you do, then they know you're willing to come off of what you would typically charge, and odds that you would be able to drive it back up again if ever things were to be better would be very, very challenging, if not almost impossible. And not to mention, they all typically work in a network, and they all talk. So they'll say, hey, you know, such and such agreed to lower his price, and just want you guys to know the door's open for negotiation, which could work out really well, because then you begin to get more opportunities for engagement offers and deals. So the volume would increase, but your fee would decrease, but at the end of the day, you would produce more in overall total revenue and profit. But that's a business decision you'd have to make. And but also realize that this could be, you know, this just could be them playing hardball, and they got their poker face on, you know? So just something to think about. But at the same time, if you say, no, I can't lower my price, and then they walk away, then you got nothing, you know? Potentially for how long? Who knows how long? But either way, I'll share with you guys my own brief overview and response to the question. If someone were to ask, you know, the question that I mentioned earlier previously in this video, and my answer would be work hard and be smart. Number one, work hard and be smart, okay? Be the hardest working man or woman in the room, okay? And be the hardest working man or woman in the room. And just to further reinforce and substantiate my claim earlier, if you're the smartest person in the room, then you're in the wrong room, okay? If you're broke and poor and living in poverty and barely getting by, living paycheck to paycheck, and you're doing the best financially out of everybody in the room, you need to get out of that room, okay? You see what I'm saying? So, number one, work hard, be smart, don't sleep, stay on the grind. Now, this is a little bit me exaggerating Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V. I'll butcher his last name no matter what. But I remember years ago when I was leaving the corporate world and going out to start my own business and generate my own income. And he says, what are you waiting on? What does your day consist of? And he broke it down, and what it ultimately boiled down to was, oh, okay, so you have 8 hours in your day blocked out for sleep. Why are you sleeping? Use those 3 of those 8 hours, 4 of those 8 hours, 5 of those 8 hours to make it happen, okay? You can sleep later, okay? It's not gonna be easy, it's not gonna be fun, it's not gonna be super enjoyable, it's gonna be challenging. But if that's what it takes for you to get out of the space that you're in that you don't want to be in, don't sleep, okay? Besides that, take chances, okay? Take chances and risks, and don't be afraid to fail. That's going to be the biggest risk that you take, is potentially failing. But if you're not taking chances, if you're not taking risks, if you're not failing, then odds are you're not trying. Odds are you're not really doing much. You see what I'm saying? Now, granted, if you get to a point where you're really, really good at what you do and you don't fail anymore and you're making a lot of money and you're not broke, you're not poor, you're not living paycheck to paycheck, you're not living in poverty, perfectly fine. Scale back off of the risk, okay? Just keep doing what you're doing. That's working really well. But for the former, if you're not the latter and you're the former, then take risks. Don't be afraid to fail, especially if the opportunities are free, okay? Taking a risk on some sort of investment that would literally wipe out your entire savings or max out your credit card may not be the greatest idea. But taking a risk, for instance, like starting a YouTube channel that wouldn't cost you anything, especially if you already have a smartphone and you already have internet or data connection, or you want to go to Starbucks, use Wi-Fi, that's free. You can do that for free. And I can show you a million different ways that you can do that and make money and make it extremely profitable. I actually came across one yesterday I was watching of a young lady who actually, she seemed really, really young, but she says, I am a stay-at-home, I work from home, I just got done raising 7 children, and she looked really young. And she goes, I'm doing this full time, and she's got a YouTube channel about crochet, knitting, and yarn. So the possibilities are literally endless, okay? And then the free ones are the best ones, in my opinion. So that's what I would say, okay? As well as stack all the paper that you can, stack it all, spend as little as possible, and make sure you carry no debt, okay? Now, this isn't gonna happen overnight, but if you approach me and you ask me, and I've got 30 seconds to tell you this because I'm off to do whatever else I'm gonna do, or you just caught me in a parking lot or at a store somewhere or whatever, this is what I would tell you. Now, the key is that you listen to what is being said, and then you apply these principles to yourself to get yourself out of the rut, out of the trap, and into a much better financial position. Don't waste your money. Don't waste the money that you have made at this point, especially just because you're getting more of it, or you think you're getting more of it, because you never know when it may stop. And also, with that being said, try to have money coming in from more than one place, multiple and diverse streams of income, just in case one of them or more than one stop. You have a backup plan, you have a safety net, you have a plan B or C, plan D, plan E, however many plans you can get. And most importantly, I would say, remember to pay it forward, okay? And try to help someone else along the way. This doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be giving them money, which I would highly suggest never doing that. Giving people money doesn't help them do better and get better with money, okay? But your time, your shoulder, your ear, maybe sitting down and breaking bread, a solid meal, and a conversation, it can all go a very long way. Much like, I think, the conversations that we have here, which I'm truly grateful that you guys allow me the opportunity to have these conversations with you. Seize the day, folks. Seize the day with purposeful intent, and keep a laser focus locked in on exactly what you desire the most. Yeah, that's what I would, that would be my answer. That would be my answer. Stay motivated. Thanks for watching. Smash that like button if you haven't already. If you enjoyed this video, you enjoy these types of talks and conversations, subscribe if you would, share. If you know anybody interested in hearing these discussions that we have here, we'll continue doing this as long as I'm able. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Love you all. And until next time, take care. Be safe. Bye.